Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bean, and today we're doing a double hitter since I did miss last week. Sorry about that. But we're going to be doing my March wrap-up and my April TBR. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's get going. So in the month of March, I managed to read 5 books, which isn't bad. We got pretty busy, we got pretty sick, so that's the main reason I didn't read a lot. I also listened to 0 audiobooks, actually, which is very surprising for me, because I always listen to an audiobook, but I was kind of on a YouTube and music binge for the month, so that's what I was listening to at work, so yes, but that's okay. The first book that I read is the only one I actually do not have a physical copy for, and that is The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich by Daya Muñez. This is a YA graphic novel. This follows Lady Camembert, yes, like the cheese, as her father dies, and so she ends up being basically told she needs to go marry someone in order to save her inheritance, but she doesn't want to marry some random dude, so she disguises herself as a man and ends up in the kingdom of Fromage as Count Camembert, and ends up meeting like the princess and getting into all of this royal kind of stuff. It's very cute. It's very adorable. It is a sapphic romance. It is so sweet, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is wonderful. You guys really should go read it. It's very, very cute. I did give it a 5 out of 5. I loved it. It was so much fun. But that one was a fun one, honestly. I did read it for school. The next one I read is a book box book, which was exciting. I did read it, and that is Bone Pendant Girls by Terry S. Friedman. I've talked about this book a couple times before. I ended up giving it a 3.25 out of 5. I really did enjoy it. This follows Andy, our main character, who she can talk to spirits, but it's usually spirits through a piece of jewelry or through something. She's always been able to see ghosts since she was a kid. And she finds these 2 bone pendants at like an auction sale or something, and they're talking to her through the voices of 2 dead girls. She basically gets embroiled in this CSI / Criminal Minds episode, which is exactly how this book reads. But I honestly was a fan of that. I didn't mind that that's how this book read, but it was very interesting. It wasn't anything super surprising. It didn't really get into the into big supernatural stuff until the ending, for me at least. Like, you got the dead girl's perspective, which was very odd. But honestly, I thought it was very good. I will definitely read something else by this author for sure, and this was a good one, and it has convinced me to continue getting the Twisted Retreat box, because I really did enjoy this book, and I was excited for this one, because I love this concept of talking to the deceased through jewelry or through things they had, so I think this was really well done. And I just have to show you guys again, because like I said, this was a Twisted Retreat book. This is what my hardcover looks like. This also is the original cover. So if you see it like that, that's the original cover. They don't always do the original cover on the underside, but they did for this one. So yes, and sprayed edges. I absolutely love these. They make me so happy. The next one that I read is another YA one, and that is The Cherished by Patricia Ward. This is a library book, so it's very shiny. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. Our main character in this book is, I want to say she's 15 or 16-year-old Jo, and she basically gets a letter from her deceased grandmother stating that she has inherited the house that her grandmother lived in, along with all of the land there. And so her and her mother travel to this house and try and figure out what to do with it. And it turns out there's some mystical, supernatural things going on there. I wasn't terribly surprised by it, but I also love mythology, and so this does play into creature mythology. And it was very interesting. It was well done. I honestly just had to continually remind myself that 15 and 16-year-old girls make absolutely horrendous choices and do not think before they talk. So that is the thing that I do forget about sometimes. But overall, honestly, this was a very good book. I would recommend it. Like I said, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. So, yeah. But basically, the house that they're in has some really negative memories for both Jo and her mother. Her mother and her father were divorced, and it was very bad. There were a lot of things that happened, and Jo has sporadic memories, but nothing solid, so she doesn't remember what happened here. But something bad did, and so they're trying to come to terms with that. The next book I read ended up being one of my favorite books, and that is Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. This is technically the first book in a duology. The second one is Darius the Great Deserves Better, and he does. This follows Darius, who is half Persian and struggling with a lot of personal things right now, including he has depression. He is bullied at school, and he is dealing a lot with the fact that at the beginning of this book, we are told that his grandfather in his grandfather in Iran is dying, and so his family is going to travel to see him one last time, and they're going to stay in Iran for a while. I think they stay for a month, and Darius is very nervous because he doesn't know how to speak the language, he barely knows the culture. He doesn't know a lot about it, and this book is honestly a great exploration of identity, finding yourself, and figuring out how to embrace your past while also looking towards your future. Honestly, this book, I could go on. I did a whole thing on it for school again. This was another school book. This book was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. I did not expect to be hit in the feels with a book that I was reading on a Wednesday night, and I binged the whole thing, very easily. But I got hit in the feels with this one because as a person who has depression, I've never felt more seen in a YA book. Especially a YA book that did not romanticize depression and the side effects that can happen from things like the medications and the constant thoughts in your head. And this book honestly was an excellent representation of that, and I absolutely adored it for that, as well as so many other things. Highly, highly recommend. It's also has this also has vibes of Darius finding new friends, meeting friends in Iran, and finding that, he can make friends elsewhere, and people do like him, and he ends up kind of discovering he seems to like guys more. And there's a lot of different ideas in there, and there's so much going on in this book, but it is so good and so well done, and deserves the awards that it did get, but I highly, highly recommend it. In case you can't tell, I liked it a little bit. The last book that I read this month, just a short little one, I finished Raiders of the Lost Heart by Joe Segura. I gave this a 3.75. I think it was a 3.75 out of 5. It was good. This follows archaeologist Dr. Corey Mejia, who is invited very last minute on a dig that she finds out once she gets down there is run by one of her former classmates who pulled some real kind of dickish moves on her back in school, and she's still holding this grudge against him. But they have to work together on the secret Aztec archaeological dig. It's got the one bed / one tent trope, kind of enemies to lovers. Honestly, it was very cute. It really was. I was looking for Indiana Jones vibes. I got Indiana Jones vibes, and I really did enjoy this book. So I would recommend it. Was it my favorite? No, it wasn't, honestly. But I'm also very picky when it comes to romance. For those of you who don't know, hi. I'm very picky when it comes to romance. And I'm also being very harsh with my ratings this year. That being said, I am super excited we do get to meet this author. Joe Segura will be at the convention we're going to in September, so I'm very excited to meet her and honestly to see what else she has coming out, because this was really good and I can't wait to see what else she has in store for us. Alright, so now we're going to move into my TBR. I did something different this month. I did not pick my TBR this month. The game did not pick my TBR this month. My sister picked my TBR this month because honestly, I just wanted to do something different and I just was not feeling like looking through prompts. So, My sister picked my books that I'm supposed to read this month, and she went with a theme, and we'll see if you can figure out what the theme is. Because we figured out what the theme was like 2 books into her picking, and she went, I'm sticking with it. This is what we're doing. And I went, okay. So the first book that they're just in a random order. We just piled them up after she picked them out. She's not here. She picked them like a couple days ago, but she was here. Thank you, Ellie. I appreciate it. The first book that she picked is The Half-Drowned King by Linnea Hartsucker. I'm very sorry. Hartsucker. Yeah, I was right. Okay. Hartsucker. And I'm sorry if I butchered that, but I did not look it up first. What I know about it is that this is a Viking story. That is what I know about this. It is a completed trilogy, and I honestly am very intrigued by this one. I remember reading the description and being really excited when I got it, because I got it in a personalized unplugged box at one point, and so I'm actually really excited to get this one. The next one that she picked was Kiss My Cupcake by Helena Hunting. Basically, what I know about this one is Grumpy Sunshine, but he's the sunshine, she's the grump. And he has an axe throwing bar, and she sells boozy cupcakes, like, across the street, I want to say. And I'm really excited. This just sounds adorable, and I have heard that it is adorable. So I'm very excited to finally get to this one. Have met Helena Hunting. She was very sweet. And she sang me, but... The next book that she picked is going to be The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. Part of the reason she picked this one is because there's already a bookmark in here, because I did start this book at one point and then I put it down, and it was really cute when I had started it. This is a sci-fi found family book, and that is what I know. It takes place in space, and there's all sorts of different creatures already that we meet in the first. What did I read? I read 85 pages of this book one morning because I wanted to, and it was really cute. Yeah, it's just a bunch of people, a bunch of beings from different planets living aboard a spaceship. I hear it has a mix of Star Trek and Firefly vibes, and I'm here for that, honestly. I haven't read a good, like, just sci-fi book in a long time, and I'm very excited to do so. The next book that she picked was The Island by Natasha Preston. This is a YA horror book that follows teen influencers who are invited to a remote island with a theme park to kind of introduce it to the world, and then strange things start happening. I'm pretty sure, like, they start dying. But yeah, so I'm intrigued. I haven't read anything by Natasha Preston before, but these lines are really far apart. This is not going to take me long to read, I don't think. Next book, this is because she watches my channel, is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. So she said that she's seen me put this on so many TBRs that she's like, all right, you need to actually read this book. So this is kind of one of the top priorities to read this month. Thanks, Elle, sorry. And then the last one that she picked is The Traitor by Ava Glass. This is the sequel to Alias Emma, which I read last year and really enjoyed. This is like a 007 spy novel. It's not 007, the main character, she is an M16 operative, so she goes by the alias Emma, and so that's where the last title comes from. But this is the sequel, and I am honestly excited to read it. I really enjoyed the first one. It was a quick, fun, enjoyable read, and I'm expecting the same thing from this. Now, I'm reading more than just that. Callie and I are doing a monthly readathon, kind of, where we are trying to read at least one book by an author that's going to be at the romance convention that we're going to. We want to try to read at least one book a month by a different author that we've never read from before. And this month we're going to read Off the Hook by Julie Olivia. This is a single dad small town romance, and I believe it's second chance, but I don't remember, honestly. I read the first chapter, and so far it's cute. It's a very long. It's not very long. It's long for a romance book. According to it's on Kindle Unlimited, but according to that, it's 425 or 26 pages. So that's a decent length for a romance book. So I'm intrigued. We'll see how it goes. But that's basically my TBR. I have a couple other books that I will be reading for school, but I don't have those with me right now because I didn't get them from the library. Those are the books that so can you find the theme? Can you find the theme? If you do, write it down, because there's a theme here, and half these books were picked because they matched the theme and no other reason. But that's fine. I mean, it couldn't have been more random. So, there we go. Alright, well that's what I got for you guys here today. I know it's a little bit of a disjointed video, but I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please comment down below what you think the theme is, and if you've read any of these books and what you think of them. I'd really like to know. But I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know it really does help us out in the long run. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading. Bye!